After building a platform that's helped more than 10,000 creators build online course businesses, I keep seeing the same thing. People with incredible knowledge, coaches, experts, artists, who never actually launched their product because they thought they needed studio lighting or $1,000 cameras or some big team behind the scenes. But what I've learned and what I want to show you today is that you don't need a big budget to build a successful course. In fact, the best courses that I've seen started very small. So how much does it really cost to build an online course business? You could build a course with less than $100, or you could spend over $10,000 and still fail. It's not about the budget, it's about understanding your audience and providing them with a clear and transformative result. I'm going to break this down for you from the perspective of somebody who's helped over 10,000 creators build and scale their online course businesses. Here's all you really need to get started. A way to record yourself. Your phone or your laptop is good enough. A simple microphone. I've seen creators use some $20 Lavalier microphone from Amazon and still get great results, no complaints from students. You want to have decent lighting, so sit in a room where you're recording that you're near a bright window or something like this, and a hosting platform where your students can log in, track their progress, take action, and ideally interact with you and each other. You don't need a fancy setup, you need momentum to get started and get something out there. So what are you actually going to spend money on then? We've got potentially the $20 Lavalier microphone. Really nowadays, like if you've got a modern MacBook or something like that, the microphone there is already pretty decent. So for the first version of your course, really that's fine. If you have a tripod for something for an existing camera, you can go with that. If you do have an existing camera and you want to invest something, I would say, first of all, you don't need to. That's more of a distraction than anything. But if for whatever reason you feel that you really need to, I've got a whole separate video on the exact equipment that I use and that I recommend. You could have potentially some editing software, but again, we want to make this as easy as possible. So I also recommend being able to record directly to your computer so you don't really have to edit much and you don't have to mess around with memory cards and things like that if you're recording videos for your course. I've got another video on that I made a few years back about how you can use OBS for free on your computer. I'll link that in the description. And then you need course software like Heights platform to be able to run your business. Ideally, you want to have a platform that you know you can grow with and that you know is not going to take a huge chunk of your revenue. There's a lot of these kind of marketplace platforms which tend to not only devalue your content, but also take a huge portion of your revenue. So you're not really owning the platform and the product in that sense, and you want to have a platform that's under your own brand that you can grow with. The total cost of what I just mentioned is going to be under $100. Heights platform is completely free for your first 30 days. There's no credit card required, so you can just get started with that right away. And really, if you're motivated and if you really put in the work consistently, 30 days is enough to get something out there. I've taught a course to thousands of people showing them how to do exactly that. And I've seen this happen thousands of times. You can build something that sells with less money than what people might spend on some kind of dinner date. But the problem that I see is too many creators get stuck. Perfection is your enemy. You need to be comfortable with imperfection. You need to understand that it's okay to start small, deliver value, and iterate. And that's why we built Heights. So you've got this tool and this platform that can feel more like a partner to help you create all of this as you go. With Heights AI and Heights AI Coach, you've got this assistance where you can have a review of your lesson by AI. So even if you don't have actual people to get feedback from right away, you kind of have that first round of feedback from AI. And then Heights AI Coach to help guide you and show you actually what you can do next to go and promote your business and everything like this. You get to focus on teaching. You don't have to worry about learning software. You don't have to worry about all of the kind of technical parts of things. And I think it's a really exciting time to be a creator, because before you could have argued, okay, well, an online course business is relatively affordable to start, but the reason that some people don't is because there's all these technical things involved. And years ago, it was really complex to build some kind of e-commerce website that would have some kind of course functionality or something like that. And now it's only getting more and more affordable and allowing you to deliver more and more value. Plus, AI is actually helping you to remove all the technical hurdles so you get to focus on creating. If you've got these big ambitions for this course and community or membership that you want to create, I think that's a good thing. But if this is your very first course, don't try to make the next Netflix or something like this. You want to start with one simple transformation that you know is going to provide value to your audience, and record lessons as simply as you can possibly to just get them in front of real people and then improve based on feedback. I've talked with a bunch of successful creators on my podcast, The Creator's Adventure, and one of the common themes and common strategies in doing this is to bring in some kind of beta group of your kind of initial members of your audience, where you either give them free or discounted access to this first version of your course, and you kind of build it with them. And this is a really successful strategy because not only are you providing them all this really good value and actually helping them be a part of the process, which is helping them to engage and actually learn more because they get to actually be kind of learning from you more directly, but then you can kind of teach it live and get this feedback from these students and people who may be potential champions of your brand and your product in the future, where then you know exactly what questions you have to answer going forward. So oftentimes that first version of your course can almost be done live as you're delivering it to these students. The recordings can be that first version, and then as you realize all of the questions that came in and all of the feedback that you've gotten, you can then go back and record those lessons again and make them better and incorporate all of that feedback that you've got. And I think this is really important to stress because no matter how experienced you are, there will always be things that you miss or things that your customers have questions about that you didn't quite think of. And so you don't want to make it a game of trying to guess if you're going to get lucky with that first version of your course. You want to make it as much as possible something that is built on real feedback from real customers who are sharing what they actually want and need to learn. Quick recap here is that you don't need a big budget. So under $100 is enough to launch. We're not going to spend money on ads. Don't fall into that trap. Spending money on ads is something that you do after you have a very dialed in process and product and messaging that you know everything converts. So it's worth it to test on ads. So we're just going to launch organically, build our audience organically around this whole thing. And you want to use tools that are going to reduce the friction, not add to it. So don't make things overly complex for yourself. Use as few tools as possible and use tools that are going to help you make the whole process faster. And you want to focus on student outcome and transformation, what you're actually providing as value, not the fancy production. Because in the end, if you can provide somebody value, that's why they're purchasing your course. They're not purchasing your course because it's the longest course. They're not purchasing your course because you have the best lighting or camera. They're purchasing it because you have a real result that's going to help them achieve what they want. The online course business is so great because no matter what, nobody can really compete with you. No matter how many other creators are kind of in the same niche as you, nobody has your unique experience and nobody has your unique message. And so that combination really has value, and building an online course is one of the easiest ways to scale your impact as a business. For me, starting my business in 2009 as this kind of graphic and web design studio, I found that I wanted to have a way to be able to scale not only my income, but my impact. And I realized that after trying service businesses, e-commerce businesses, digital product businesses, pretty much everything under the sun, that building an online course was one of the best ways to do that. Not only because of the potential that it had, but because it's something that's really fulfilling to do, to provide this positive transformation to other people's lives. So if you want to keep things simple, Heights platform is built for this, especially if it is your first time creating a business online. We've made it easy for creators like you to try out, see how far you can go in these next 30 days. If this video helped, leave a like, subscribe, and comment that you're starting so we can cheer you on. And also join us in our free community of over 10,000 creators at creatorclimb.com. If you want to try Heights platform out, the link is in the description below.